Welcome everyone back to SRTV Network. We're presenting you tonight the American Motorsports Simulations 410 Sprint Series here at Williams Grove Speedway, the second race of the season. These guys are out there running in practice. Practice is about to conclude. I'm up here in the booth. My name's Jay West. They call me Gerald West. They call me Jay Wheezy. They call me Gerald West. I mean, they call me crazy. How about that? But I'm up here in the booth with Matt Trace, and we're bringing this race to you live at Williams Grove. How you doing, Matt?
I'm good. I mean, I don't care what anybody calls me. Just don't call me late for dinner.
Hey, that's what I'm saying. I hear you, brother. And these guys are switching over here to start their qualifying run. So let's go ahead and give a shout out to some of the sponsors out there for American Motorsports Simulations. We got a couple of sponsors here tonight. Warner Racing. Warner Racing has sponsored AMS along with Trace Motorsports. And Trace Motorsports, Matt Trace himself. Also, you got Speed Motorsports. Speed Motorsports is sponsoring AMS for the first time this season here. So glad to have them guys on board with American Motorsports Simulations. And as you can see, Dave's Muskie Club there, Dan Allen, the man. He threw in a little bit here. He's sponsoring. He's out there racing, trying to get him a win here at Williams Grove. And High Groove Photos. That's the man Hockley, Fast Hockley. Appreciate you guys for sponsoring American Motorsports Simulation. Everything helps to keep all this together because Michael Massey's got his hands full. There's a lot of fast drivers in this league, a lot of fast cars, so they're going to be going super fast around this track here at Williams Grove. A little bit of more info on this track here. 65 degrees out there, the wind's blowing out of the southeast. It says Williams Grove's in Mechanicsburg. I've never heard of that city, but it's all good. It's a 1 mile track.
Half mile.
It's a half-mile track. Well, iRacing better get their stuff together.
It's a half-mile track. Mechanicsburg is where I live, where Chris Hockley lives.
Really?
Mitchell, yep. Jordan Mitchell is nearby, and PA represent.
Pennsylvania in the house. I hear that. A lot of good guys come out of Pennsylvania, that's for sure. A lot of good drivers, too. They got a lot of good racetracks out there. It's a good place to be. It's not far from here. There's a lot of good places here in Indiana.
You know, real quick, we were talking earlier in the other broadcast about shout-outs and stuff. I just remembered something. And I can't believe I forgot this, but I know some of the ones from the group that I hang out with are watching. And if you see somebody going around track, as they go into turn 3, there's a hill up there, right above the Williams Grove Speedway side. That's called the Beer Hill Gang. I want to give them a shout out. They do a lot for the sport. They have their own TV show on Facebook, and I believe they have a website now. They do driver interviews, and they do they just wrapped up their weekly show for the year. They were in previous years they've held fundraisers to help raise money for local race teams and whatnot, and they helped the outlaw team, the like Logan Schuhart and them, when their toter went down. So shout out to the Beer Hill Gang. This is their home track too, and for the ones that are watching, I hope you guys are enjoying this.
Yeah, I'm noticing as we're riding along here with Christopher Taggett, looks like the track's slick. It starts off at 30% track state here, but it looks awful slick out there. It's either that or them cars are just that fast. What do you think, Matt?
The track is definitely slicked off here. It's going to be interesting to see how these guys set up for the feature. If more fuel you put in it, a little bit looser it's going to be, and these guys are going to have to pull their wings back early, and it should be pretty exciting. 410s around Williams Grove can put on a pretty good show. That's going to be tough to beat that 360 race, though.
Yeah, I love those 360s, man. Those 360s, they're just a lot easier to handle. It's like these cars got too much horsepower for some people. And I'm one of those people. I got a heavy, heavy right foot there. And it's hard to control these cars when you got a heavy right foot. You got to be really delicate on that gas because you can literally ride a wheelie all the way down the straightaway at one of these tracks. But it looks like that number 17, you called it, Matt. 17's... he's pretty fast out there. That Dylan Schiebel, I mean, he smoked them on the pole so far. As they're coming down to the end of qualifying here, and we still got some cars out there just running around making laps, trying to get a good feel of the track here. But not only are they getting a feel of the track, they're also putting more wear on the track. So with it being 40 laps, say they started at 30%. What do you think the track state will be at the end of this race?
Probably in the upper 70s or 80%, if not more, depending on how the cautions fall and stuff. But I want to make a note that Dylan Schiebel better be fast driving that 17 car. I loaned him the number for the night, but I want my number back, Dylan. So if you're watching or listening and you hear this, you better do good in that 17 car tonight.
Better represent the 17, he said. Well, unfortunately, he hadn't got a radio with him, so we can't get a interview in with him here for his pole. Or actually, Chris Johnson. We got Chris Johnson on the pole.
No, it's...
Am I right?
Nope, Dylan Schiebel is on the pole.
Okay, I'm sorry.
Chris Taggett is front row with him, so another front row start for the 126.
Yeah, that's my mistake. I apologize for that. You know, I make mistakes.
But it looks like Schiebel was just given an EOL penalty for being new, so he has to go to the rear, and 88 of Rick Brazel has to go to the rear, so that's going to jump the pole sitter to be James Wallace, it looks like.
Yeah, that inside line will move up one spot, so everybody will gain a spot. Well, we'll run through the grid anyways. We just won't go inside-outside. It'll still be inside-outside. It'll just be one move up. Okay, so the 17's going to the back, so you're going to have Christopher Taggett starting up front. Rick Brazel, he's going to be on the outside. And then, no. Anyways, the 69 of Timothy DeSwart, James Wallace starting fifth, the 45 of Michael Massey, the 14 of Christopher Hockley, the number 3 of Charlie Porter with a 18181. I love that number. A lot of ones and a lot of eights. Kyle Busch, baby. Anyways, 74, Chris Johnson, the number 2 of Ron Holyfield, 11th, the 47 of Bill Cobb, followed by James DeMint in that 31 car. Lou Oleski, he's up in the booth. The 13 car, Jordan Mitchell. Martin Karch in that 101. The 18 of Brian Beach. Number 8 of William Davis. The 23 of Corey Helmrichs. And those are all the guys that decided to start in the back for this second race of the season here. Maybe they're looking for the long run here. What do you think, Matt?
Definitely for 40 laps, it's going to be entertaining, but I just got word that even Chris Taggett is being sent to the rear, so I'm not sure what that's about. Scheibel was sent to the rear for no points, so that our front row is going to consist of James Wallace and Timothy DeSwart, so that's going to be interesting. The entire top 4 sent to the rear. Never seen that before.
Absolutely. Well, it's probably not a bad thing considering this track and the way that the last race went, with them being in these 410s. I think I'd probably start in the back here too on the second race here. If you're looking for points, you know what they say, to finish first, you must first finish.
Yeah, that's for sure. So we got the one to go. We've done it already, these other races. If you're watching, and you can let us know who you think is going to win. But Jerry, you first. Who's your pick?
The number 74 of Chris Johnson.
I'm going to go on a limb, and I'm going to take the guy who's starting 14th, and that's the 13 of Jordan Mitchell.
Yeah, Jordan Mitchell's absolutely fast. I'm going to be looking for some of those guys out there in the back to be making their way up towards the front as this race goes on. Given that pace car's on pit road.
We are
green flags out.
James Wallace with a start going into turn 1. Chris Hockley looking to the bottom of Tim DeSwart for second place, but here comes the 3 of Charlie Porter behind them. Big pile up down the backstretch.
Yeah, there was a lot of cars involved in that. We'll go back and take another look. Let's go with the cockpit cam of Charlie Porter. They take the green flag, heading off into 1. Couple guys get sideways. She checks up. All good. Coming off of 3. The 14 gets loose, gets into her left front, sends her into the wall. She's flipping. After that, it's good night. And all the cars got a Dodger. It's a hard thing to do on the backstretch here at Williams Grove, is to dodge a 410 flipping around the air.
Tough break for the 69 involved in that one. Tim DeSwart, he's in the pits right now.
Yeah, wasn't he one of them guys that started in the back?
Tim started on the front row right there with James Wallace, so something happened to him on the start where he got drifted all the way back there and got caught up in that mess.
Yeah, he started in the 4th spot there. So, yeah, that's kind of... I wonder how he must have got caught up on the bottom down there somewhere or something. I'm not for sure.
I'm not sure, but...
Could have been a self-spin and he just went to the back. Or maybe he chose to go to the back. You know, he could have pulled in pit row.
Maybe. Shout out to Adam Holm for watching. His pick for tonight was Mike Massey. So
Michael Massey, he almost got involved in that too. So a lot of guys could have got caught up in that first wreck.
Quick rundown here, real quick, of the field. We got James Wallace leading, the high side hustler Martin Cart second, Chris Johnson third, Jordan Mitchell up to 4th, Rick Brazel up to 5th, Dylan Scheibel 6th, Chris Taggett 7th, Ron Hollifield 8th, Corey Helmer 9th, James Dement 10th. Pace truck is in. We're getting ready to go back racing.
Yeah, buckle up, boys. We're in 410s. Green flags in the air. The 101 rides a wheelie.
Impressive job to hang on to the Jordan Mitchell. Took it 3 wide. Take second spot. Cautions out.
Yeah, Martin Karch had a little trouble on that restart as he rode a couple wheelies down the front stretch and managed to get it turned around a little bit there. So let's go back and watch this restart here with Martin Karch. Oh, and the 47 of Bill Cobb was in the back there. Managed to, that was talented. I'm impressed of Bill Cobb there. If you get a chance to watch that, oh man, you got to check it out.
I'll tell you what else was pretty impressive. Even though he spun out, Karch managed to stay on the throttle, pull wheelie, and not completely destroy his car while he was in the middle of the turn on a slick track. That's very difficult to do.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, that contact between him and the 47 of Bill Cobb, I don't think it was enough to damage either one of those cars very much. These cars seem like they can take a pretty good beating sometimes.
But how about that? Up to second, starting from the back. 13 of Jordan Mitchell. So quickly through the field here as we get the one to go. We got James Wallace out front, but Jordan Mitchell's right behind them. 74, Chris Johnson. Because Dylan Scheibel was sent to the back here. Rick Brazel. And the 88 is 4th. Chris Taggett 5th. Corey Helmer 6th. Ron Hollifield 7th, James Dement 8th, Mike Massey up to 9th, and Martin Karch is 10th. Dylan Schiebel is 11th, Charlie Porter 12th, Bill Cobb 13th, Tim Deswart 14th, and Chris Hockley 15th. That is your field. We double up coming into turn 3. Pace truck should be pulling in this time. Let's see if we can get some green flag racing.
Yeah, they're going double file. I thought they might go single file here on this restart, but double file it is. You got to be careful on that throttle. The green flag waves. Could ride a wheelie, could turn left. You got to get it going straight. The 74, Chris Johnson up front. The 126 of Christopher Taggart on his inside. They come down the back stretch. The number 30, the 00, James Wallace, really got a great start. Wow. I was speechless for a second there, Matt. I thought it was really close.
I could tell. But once again, good racing halted by yet another yellow.
Yeah, I was looking in the back on that restart there, and I seen somebody get spun around. I couldn't see who it was.
Looks like our chicken friend, the 31 of James Dement. Looks like the 69 of Tim Deswart's coming back out of the pits too.
It's unfortunate I didn't get a good shot of that replay, but hey, it wasn't worth watching anyways. But a lot of those guys dodged that accident there, so a lot of lucky drivers out there. Sorry about the replay on that. I was trying to find James Dement there, and I did the correct thing to do, and it just wouldn't give it to me. So, hey, I don't make these things. I just push the buttons, and that's all I can do, right, Matt?
Yeah, even the pros have technical difficulties, and we thank you, Iracing, for making it a little bit difficult sometimes.
Yeah, absolutely. So the lights on the pace car's off, making their last time around before they go back green. It's looking really good for that 00, and Ricky Bobby's up there in the mix, and the 13 of Jordan Mitchell, just like you said. Also the 74 Chris Johnson and Christopher Taggart. These guys are super fast, and we're gonna go back green now, and we're single file. Green flags in the air. Great start by James Wallace.
Looks like the 13 spun his tires on that restart, opened the door wide open for Ricky Bobby, Rick Brazel. They're going to go side by side for second. James Wallace is just sitting there going, go ahead, race. I'm going to pull away and try and win this thing. James Wallace leads. We are getting ready to approach the halfway point of this race.
Yeah, and there's a battle up front, the top three. The 88 of Rick Brazel gets into the 13 car, and there's a big one going on. Wow. It ejected him to his pit stall.
Tough break for the 13 of Jordan Mitchell. He was our hard charger in the last race, and he was coming up through the field once again, just competing for the win.
And nowhere to go for some of those cars there, so it's unfortunate to get caught up in something like that. He tried his best to hang on to it, and at some point there's just nothing you can do. You're just along for the ride. Sometimes I talk about those instinct decisions that you have to make. So say you come off the corner, you're full throttle, and then all of a sudden in front of you, you got a decision to make, and you got to make it fast. It's, do I go left or do I go right? And hopefully you make the right decisions. So it's just a gut instinct is what I call it. I go with my gut. If I go left and get into it, hey, it happens. But sometimes you'll miss it, and sometimes you'll hit it.
Yeah, and this reaction time in these things is just, it's unreal, especially on dirt. It's really hard to make that decision. It's kind of like, I like to refer to wrecks on dirt as racing at Daytona or Talladega. Anything can happen, and at the split second, your race could be over. And it just seems like that's what's happening with some of these. Like Jordan Mitchell, when you have a car underneath you and he hits you, nothing you can really do, and it's unfortunate.
Yeah, well, hopefully he didn't get too much damage and he can make his way back out on the racetrack. We'll see.
Looks like the lights are off on the pace car once again, and should be, I'm wondering, looks like single file for these guys, with James Wallace leading and Rick Braswell second. Chris Taggart's still hanging on there in third, Chris Johnson fourth, and Dylan Scheibel fifth. Pace truck is in, and we are going to go back racing.
The green flag's out. That front wheels come off the ground. Jamie Wallace, he really gets on that throttle hard. Gets a good start. The 88 of Rick Braswell on his inside had to whoa up. He's going to maintain that second spot for now. Fight behind him. The 126 of Christopher Taggart, followed by the 17 of Dylan Scheibel. These guys are battling out there, Matt.
Oh, contact for the lead. The 2 leaders are around. Braswell upside down.
Oh man, that was definitely a fight for the battle, and there's the guy that fortunately made it through there alive, Chris Taggart. Rick Braswell, he was the one. Am I saying it right yet, Matt? Come on, help me out.
If we aren't, I'm sure he'll let us know.
Well, hey, I can't wait to hear from him. But it's Superfly Ricky Bobby. Hey, let's go back and take a look on the replay. What happened to him? And this is the race for the lead. He's on the outside. He goes down into 1. Nowhere to go. It comes from somewhere. He don't know where it came from. Let's take one more look. Yeah, it looks like he just cut down in there, and it was a racing deal to me, the way the contact was made. Fortunately, a lot of cars made it through there. The 00, he ended up calling a tow truck. The 88 of Rick, he tried hard as he could, but he couldn't get it back on all fours there.
Yeah, and that's unfortunate for both. They were both running pretty well. But the guy who benefits from this the most, the 126 of Chris Taggart, as he's sitting there with the lead. Once again, you know, Taggart likes to talk about how he sucks at qualifying and all that stuff. Well, he started on the front. He qualified second, was sent to the rear. And here he is back out front. So I'm actually pretty impressed that he was able to get up through the field with all these wrecks. Same with Dylan Scheibel. Scheibel's running well again in second, so maybe it's going to be a battle between these two. Chris Johnson's there, Karch is there, Massey's still there. So, I mean, yeah, some of these guys have wrecked out, but we still got a good field of cars that are left out there. And hopefully we can get some green flag racing here.
Yeah, I think we will. We still we're only 22 of 40, so looks like Mike Massey's made his way into the top 5 too. It's good to see Mike running good tonight.
Always great to see Massey running good, especially in the sprint cars. But pace truck is ducked in. Taggart's going to pace him down. Green flag is out. We got to restart. Taggart spins down the inside a little bit with the tires. Scheibel's going to battle on the high side. Burns in the back of Taggart. Taggart's around.
Yeah, that's unfortunate for Taggart. Getting that good start. It's really a big row in this, but the 17 got one too, and they fought their way through. We'll take another look though, see if we can get a better view. Yeah, Chris Taggart was almost all the way sideways there, and the 17 had nowhere to go. and managed to make contact with that 126. So it's going to be interesting to see if he gets a penalty for that. Actually, you know, it really was a racing deal in my opinion, but these guys, they have their own rules, and they go by the rules. So,
well, as much of a racing deal as it is, I always like to think about, or go with the theory of, if you're trying to pass the car in front of you, it's your responsibility to get around them. Not saying Dylan's at fault, not saying Chris is at fault. I think it is a racing deal as well. It's unfortunate for both, but it's product of this dirt racing, and it's unfortunate that it happened. For that, it looks like Taggart's race is going to be a little bit tougher coming from the back there, but I don't know.
Well, it ain't over, and it ain't over until it's over, and I absolutely agree with what you just said. I absolutely agree with that. If you're trying to pass somebody, it's your job to get by them cleanly. If you can't do it cleanly, then maybe you don't belong in front of them, because, hey, racing's fun, and we're all out there to have fun, and accidents happen and stuff. So, yeah, like I said, like you said, Matt, I'm not pointing a finger at anybody. I'm just kind of going over the philosophy of how we go, what we go by, you know. I'm sure the 17 probably goes by that too. And, you know, people make mistakes, no big deal. But we're getting ready to go green again. It's going to be 14 to go as they cross the line. They're coming off turn 4. The green flag's out. The 101 of Martin Karch takes them stupid fly around this racetrack. We got contact going into 1. The 17 holds that momentum up on the outside. The 101 gets into the side of him.
Yeah, great power move by the 17 on the outside there to get by Martin Karch, but battle is for second place right now. Chris Johnson looking to get around the 101 of Martin Karch. A little slider up the track for the 101, slows the 74 down, but opens the door wide open for Mike Massey.
Yeah, Mike Massey was the big gainer on that one as he's sideways through 3 and 4, up into the 101 of Martin Karch. They make contact. No harm, no foul. They're 2 wide going into the turn 1 there. But look who's right behind them, the 74 Chris Johnson. The 45 of Mike Massey maintains that second place position. The caution's out.
Not sure what the caution came out for this time. Didn't see anybody spin out on track, so.
Yeah, sometimes we have those phantom cautions here on iRacing, or maybe somebody was coming off a pit road there, and iRacing throws that yellow flag sometimes when you cross that commitment cone on exit. I'm not for sure if that's what happened. Maybe we'll find out in our later interviews, you know, because sometimes we can keep up with these, sometimes we can't. But what it does do, it gives us a good time to recognize our sponsors and everybody that helps put all this stuff together here at American Motorsports Simulations. So shout out to all the sponsors for American Motorsports Simulations. You got Warner Racing, Trace Motorsports, Speed Motorsports, Dave's Muskie Club. That's Dan Allen himself there, and High Groove Photos, Mr. Christopher Hockley. Man, we appreciate you guys for doing what you do, and special thanks to Michael Massey for putting all this together. Lights are going off on the pace car. They're getting set to go back green. AmericanMotorsports.blogspot.com. As that pace car makes his way down the backstretch, getting ready to send these guys going super fast around this racetrack, Matt. You still think you got the pick tonight?
Well, my pick is out, Jordan Mitchell, but I'm thinking the 17 are going to hold on to win. That'd be the first win for the 17 this year. And I've already gotten the win in the 17 in asphalt this year, so we'll see. But I think Massey might have something for him. I don't know. The 17 is pretty quick. The pace truck is in the pits, and they come out of turn 4. We'll see what kind of restart the Scheibel can get. Seems like the leader has been spinning his tires on every restart. Scheibel manages to not spin his tires, pulls away a little bit. Battle is for second place right now. The 45, Mike Massey. 101, Martin Karch. Karch is on the bottom, Massey on the high side. Karch tries to get a run off the bottom, can't quite get around the 45. They go into turn one. Scheibel starts to pull away. Karch goes around Massey. Caution's back out.
Yeah, that happened in the back there. I seen it in the back shot there. Somebody went around there, but that was a great battle up front between the top three: Michael Massey, Dylan Scheibel, and Martin Karch. You know, he got a really good restart there on that restart, and I think that's the key to this race is the restart. Not spinning the tires, not popping a wheelie. Sometimes these cars have a tendency to turn left there when you hit the gas, so it makes it difficult there to judge these restarts.
Yeah, getting word from the race directors that the 14 of Chris Hockley was the one that was involved in that, so I'm not sure if we can get that on replay, but he was given a end of the longest line penalty, so something tells me that it was his caution, and that's a tough break for Hockley.
Alright, so we're riding around with Christopher Hockley. See what happened in this caution. It was actually the 88 got sideways there and turned sideways, and he just had nowhere to go, so he got a penalty, I guess, but hey, that's how it goes sometimes. I guess you get a penalty here. You can't run into the back of somebody here at American Motorsports Simulations for sure. You need to dodge these guys. Keep everybody's race car nice and clean, shiny. That's the whole intent here at AMS.
Well, we're getting down to the wire here. We're down to 4 laps to go, and Scheibel's got a lead, or is leading the race with Karch behind him and Massey behind him yet. So we'll see if Scheibel can hold on. Looks like we are going to get a restart, and this should be a good battle here to the end. See if the 17 can hang on and get a victory tonight.
Yeah, the top 5's looking good. Michael Massey's in position. He needs to strike, and he needs to strike fast. So the 17 of Dylan Scheibel's going to send him off when the green flag starts. And it's green.
Scheibel definitely slowed the pace down for that restart, but it helped him get a launch off the green flag there. Karch is trying to battle back and try and get around him, but not sure if he's going to have enough to get him, and Scheibel works at high side. The battle is still for second, third, and fourth as Karch, Massey, and looks like Chris Taggart are all right there battling for position. Scheibel's going to work his way off of turn number 4, getting a white flag this time. Massey battling back on Karch for second. Scheibel pulls away, but the battle is still for second place. Karch and Massey. Massey underneath Karch. Karch slips up a little bit coming out of turn 2. Mike Massey moves into second place. Scheibel's going to come out of turn 4. He's going to see the checker flag first. Karch goes underneath the Massey for second. They're side by side. There's contact. Big wreck, and it looks like Chris Johnson is going to sneak away with the second place finish after contact between the 101 and the 45.
Yeah, that was a aggressive contact there. After the contact, his car just tumbled aggressively. So go back and take a look at that one. See if we can get a good view here. Riding in the cockpit here with the 101, he was way off throttle there, and he kept it on the bottom. It kind of got loose, and there you have it, folks. A double, triple, flipple 360 across the start-finish line, pretty much.
Man, that battle for second was pretty intense, though. I hate it for Massey. He looked like he was gonna walk away with a podium, but he ended up 7th. But while we get ready to go through a rundown here, let's get our third place finisher, Chris Taggart, in here. Chris Taggett, this is Matt Trace up in the booth. You got a copy?
Yeah, go ahead.
Another podium finish for you tonight in the sprint cars. I know there was a little bit of contact in front of you to get you up there, but a good job tonight, man.
Yeah, thank you. I had a wrong setup in there right now, and I had 25 gallons in there, so I put way too much fuel in too, so I couldn't drive worth anything. So I was just lucky to get third.
Yeah, the fuel game is pretty tough when it comes to these sprint cars, because if you add too much and it upsets the car. If you add too little, then you run out of fuel. And you said yourself you put too much in there. Did you think you had anything? If you would have taken fuel, did you have anything for the top two there?
I think I would have. I finished with 17 gallons, so that's way too much fuel that left. But yeah, I think I would have. Plus, I should have just stick with the setup I qualified in and just added some fuel into it. But I couldn't let off the throttle with it wanting to spin out on me.
Well, I like to say sometimes it's going to be lucky than good, and I know you're good, and getting third place, I'm sure it's a good feeling, and I'm sure you wanted to win. But before we let you go and enjoy this, is there anybody else you would like to give a shout out to?
No, just Mike again for putting this on. Hopefully next week we'll have a little bit more green flag laps, but other than that, yeah, just Mike.
Well, Taggett, thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next week for some more dirt track racing.
All right, thank you.
That'd be your third place finisher, Chris Taggett.
Let's bring my pick up here, Matt. Second place. Go ahead and get a word at him and with him.
Chris Johnson, Matt Trace, you got a copy?
I got you, brother. What's going on?
Man, that was pretty impressive. You worked your way up there, got yourself a second place finish. I'm sure that feels pretty good.
Yeah, it does, man. I tell you what, that last coming off turn 4 there, I was pretty wild with Martin and Massey getting into it right there, and I just kind of drove through the middle of it, and that was one of them situations. Felt like cold trickle, man. You just put it to the high side and let her eat.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, we did our picks up here, and Jerry kind of stole you from me, so you did good for Jerry tonight.
I'm glad I can do good by you. I wouldn't have gave you a snowball's chance in hell how we'd have been on the podium tonight, but hey, I'll take it. Second's good as a win.
Yeah, it looked like the track got a little slicker, and I know you've been pretty good over the years on the slick track. How did your car feel for you?
I'll be honest with you, that car was garbage. I mean, we hardly had any time on setup this week, and didn't get any hot laps. We've got a issue with our PC going on right now. It's not loading the way it needs to be, so we can get in, maybe get 2 or 3 hot laps in. So, we're pretty much just winging it right now on the open stuff. The fixed stuff were pretty good, but all in all, I'm just thrilled to be in second. I mean, I love to win the race. All night tonight's been kind of a mess, but it is what it is. I'll take it. The track itself was slick too, so that'll probably add into what kind of night we had tonight. But hey.
Well, before we let you go and enjoy your second finish, is there anybody you'd like to give a shout out to?
Like always, I want to thank the friends and family watching at the house, my wife for all her support, my old man sitting at the house, the little man running around too, and just thank y'all for putting on the broadcast, and thank Mike for putting up with us for as long as he has and all that. So look forward to talking to y'all again on Thursday night.
We look forward to interviewing you again. Chris Johnson was second place tonight. Chris, good job.
Good job, buddy. Well, we don't have a winner to interview here at SRTV Network for the American Motorsports Simulations Sunday Dirt Series here. The 410 Sprint Series just concluded, and I had a blast. What did you think about the race, Matt?
I definitely think the 360s stole the show tonight for us. It's unfortunate that that finish for that came down to caution flag, but the racing overall was pretty good. Looks like there's a couple of things that can be fixed here and there between everybody. But I think we have Mike Massey ready for an interview before we get going here.
Yeah, and I think you know, this track, it's hard to run on, so it's one of the harder dirt tracks to run on. So if it was a great race in my opinion. I probably would have never even finished that with a good car. So hats off to all the guys that ran good tonight, and hats off to Mike Massey. How you doing, Mike?
Oh, I'm all right now.
Oh, y'all had a great race out there tonight, man. You put on an excellent show here at SRTV Network, and you had a lot of great sponsors come on board here this season to help y'all out with some stuff. So hats off to the AMS League, and if you want to check them out, AmericanMotorsports.blogspot.com. How was your race, Matt? I'm sorry, Matt, Mike?
Well, the race was good there at the end. You know, I was just trying to keep the car out of trouble and managed to stay out of trouble till the end. Had a good car. Really had a good car to win that race, but was really shooting for second once 17 there checked out. But unfortunately, Martin's car his nose was off, and he tried to move, and you saw what happened there. It didn't stick for him, so it was unfortunate. Yeah. But hey, two good guys got to get the top three out of it, so it's not too bad. It's not all's lost. It wasn't one of our best nights, but the track was tough. The track was definitely tough.
Yeah, like I was saying earlier, it's a hard track, and what it feel like? Was it really slick? Was it just yanking around on you, or just depend on how your setup was? How was the track?
Oh, in the 410, it was nothing but tire spin. You had to really raw out with the corners, and the guys who were, you know, if you couldn't get on the cushion, or there was one foreman on the bottom, and I was saving it till the end there. And I don't know if you saw me making those moves on the bottom, but there was a lot left down there. Everybody had worn out the top pretty good. So I knew that's where I was going to get my spot. Try to grab second and see what I had for first. But all the drivers were having a hard time. Their cars weren't handling. The wing tilts weren't handling. You know, moving it wasn't helping. The track was really rough. I mean, really rough. Coming down the straightaway, guys were losing it. So it was a tough track. I know the racing didn't look that great. But that track was very tough tonight. It was cold. It was, it's 38 degrees up there. I know iRacing only lets us do 65, but it was very cold. And it was a tough track. It was almost like it was chunking out like in real life.
Oh yeah, man. And I did some good ride-alongs there to give the viewers a good shot of what it's like to run laps around here. And you could tell the off-throttle time that they were having as they went through the turn. It was almost like they were letting all the way off and then not really getting back into it until exit. So it seemed like they was being really delicate with that throttle as they were coming through the turns. So it takes a lot of highly talented drivers to drive on a track like that. And of course you're going to have a few cautions here and there. But all in all, I think it was an excellent race. Me and Matt, we had an excellent time up here. It was exciting to watch you guys out there. And we appreciate you coming on board here with SRTV Network. But is anybody you'd like to give a shout out to while we got you up here?
Yeah, well, certainly. I still think we have the best drivers, even though we had some temper flare on this track tonight. We had Dave's Muskie Club come on board. That's Dan Allen and his gang. They were one of the sponsors, High Group Photos out of Pennsylvania. Great photography. But that guy really does some excellent sprint car photos. Get a hold of him and buy some of his photos. He has great stuff. Well worth it. You could get a big size with that man, and you will be hooked up with a quality print. You want some canvas for your wall, give High Group Photos a shout. Their link is on our website. They have a good Facebook page. You can just contact him through there. And also, I'd like to thank Warner Racing, Trace Motorsports, and Speed Motorsports. And that would be Brian Warner, Matt Trace, and Ron Holyfield. Those guys are chipped in, and they help sponsor this broadcast for the whole season. We got more coming on board, so we'll announce those as soon as we get it. But I'd like to thank you guys for a good show, and hopefully we'll put on a good one Thursday. I'm looking forward to that race.
Yeah, and if we got any viewers out there that are interested in running with American Motorsports Simulations, you want me to send them your way, hey, The link's in the description below, and I think they're recruiting. So go out there and see if you can give these guys what it takes. Somebody's going to win. Might as well be you. Thanks, Mike, for coming up. We'll see you next week, buddy.
We'll see you.
Well, that does it. You heard it. So any information you need's in the description below. And these guys are going to be recruiting all season. And they do short seasons. So if you don't be scared to join because you're not into the points. Go ahead and jump on board. The next season will be coming up real soon. Like I said, they do 2 different race nights here at American Motorsports Simulations. On Thursday nights, they do asphalt. They do Legends, Street Stocks, and late models. And, you know, so if you don't like asphalt, Sundays they do dirt. You know, so do some Legends, some 360s, and some 410s with these guys. They run an open setup with the 410 Sprint Series, so make sure you bring your best setup. Any last words, Matt?
My only last few words are while you check out AMS, come over, check out All Star Trucks on Monday nights. We're sister league to AMS. The link's posted in the description as well. But other than that, some pretty good racing tonight. If you guys are looking for a really good league to run in, AMS is the place to come. As you saw, 20 cars for the sprints tonight, and it was incredible. And want to thank you, Jerry, once again. I love coming up here. You're making me not want to race anymore.
Hey man, I love having you up here, and you do a great job when you're up here in the booth. So I appreciate all the help you and all the information you give, man. You give a lot of good information to the viewers, so they get to know a lot about these tracks and how these dirt cars run, because I'm more of an asphalt guy. So thanks for helping me out. So for Matt Trace, I'm Jerry West. This is SRTV Network. This was race 2 of the season for the American Motorsports Simulations. So if you like what you've seen, we'll be back Thursday night for asphalt. Have a good night.